What is the book of Numbers about? Numbers actually happens between Exodus and Leviticus, where God has brought the people of Israel out of slavery and taken them to Mount Sinai and given them the law and given them the tabernacle. And it happens between that and Deuteronomy and Joshua, where they get to the promised land and go in. So the book of Numbers is actually just about the wandering in the wilderness, that period of time. And it is roughly divided between two parts. Chapters 1 to 26 is about the dying off of the first generation of Israelites. And then chapters 27 to 36 to the end is about the maturing of the second generation who's actually going to go in.
And in case you're interested in this sort of thing, the book of Numbers gets its name by the fact that it has two numberings of the people of Israel, one at the beginning of the book and one at the end. And so obviously the first numbering of the people was to number how many there were who came out of Egypt. And then finally the second numbering of the people of Israel was how many people were about to enter into the promised land.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I am your host, Billy Ray Parrish. For another Bible study from Diggin' Deeper, on today's problem, we will go digging deeper into Numbers. Chapter 13. We are working our way through the Old Testament and plan to get through the Pentateuch shortly. The Pentateuch is the first 5 books of Moses, or the Law. Numbers is the 4th book in the Old Testament, written by Moses, which tells the story of the 12 spies sent by Moses to explore the land of Canaan, the land God had promised to give to Israel. It is a turning point in Israel's journey from Egypt to the Promised Land. The chapter is made up of 33 verses, beginning with verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Israel. And these were their names: of the tribe of Reuben, Shammua the son of Zachar; of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Hori; of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh; of the tribe of Issachar, Egal the son of Joseph; of the tribe of Ephraim, Oshea the son of Nun; of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti the son of Raphu; of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sodi; of the tribe of Joseph, namely, of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi the son of Susi; of the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Jamali; of the tribe of Asher, Sethur the son of Michael; of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi the son of Vopsi; of the tribe of Gad, Juel the son of Machi. These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Oshea the son of Nun Jehoshua. And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwelleth therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents, or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it be fat, or lean, whether there be wood therein, or not. And be ye of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up, and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rehob, as men come to Hamath. And they ascended by the south, and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with 1 cluster of grapes. And they bare it between 2 upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron, and to all the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them, and unto all the congregation, and shewed them the fruit of the land. And they told him, and said, We came unto the land, whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey. And this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled. and very great, and moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea, and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses, and said, Let us go up at once, and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land, which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land, through which we have gone to search it, is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Numbers 13 is not primarily a lineage chapter, but it does include a partial list of leaders from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Specifically, the 12 men Moses sent as spies to explore the land of Canaan. Why did Moses write Numbers chapter 13? To record Israel's unbelief, to teach the importance of faith in God's promises, to explain Israel's 40-year wandering, and to warn future generations not to repeat the same mistake. We open with God himself initiates the mission. Note the phrase which I give, God already promised the land. The spying mission was meant to confirm God's goodness, not to question his promise. We learn when God promises something, he already sees it as done. Our faith is tested in whether we believe it. The Israelites are in the wilderness of Paran, after leaving Mount Sinai discovered in Numbers, chapter 10 verse 12. They have received the law, built the tabernacle, and are now poised to enter Canaan, the promised land. God commands Moses to send 12 spies, one from each tribe, to explore the land. This happens shortly before Israel reaches the border of Canaan at Kadesh Barnea. The chapter opens with God reaffirming Moses' roles as God's chosen mediator as every major decision in Israel's journey begins with God's direction. The command comes from God, not human initiative, though it also aligns with the people's request. God leads his people step by step, even when he allows them to explore or question. His purpose is to strengthen their trust in him. To search the land or spy out means to explore, observe, and bring back a report, not to decide whether to enter it, but to prepare for how to enter it. Something we notice here, but also in other chapters previous, is God's promises are sure, but he often allows us to see the challenge before the victory, to strengthen our faith in his power, not our own. When God tests his people, he often involves leaders first, because faith or fear in leadership spreads to the whole community. 12 leaders, one from each tribe, are chosen, including Caleb Judah, and Hoshea, Joshua, Ephraim. Moses changes Hoshea's name to Joshua, meaning the Lord saves. God uses leaders from every part of his people. Courage and faith can come from any tribe or background. These were not ordinary scouts but leaders, heads of the children of Israel. The mission had political, spiritual, and national importance. Every tribe would have a share in the report and decision. When those in leadership positions doubt or believe, they set the tone for an entire people. Reuben was the firstborn of Jacob, traditionally the leading tribe, yet his tribe later plays a lesser role in Israel's history due to Reuben's instability. Shamuel's name means heard, possibly indicating God hears or one who listens. An important lesson learned is leadership requires hearing from God, not just seeing circumstances. Simeon's tribe was later absorbed into Judah's territory. Shaphat means judge, and Hori means free man or noble. Nothing more is recorded about this spy, suggesting his influence ended with the bad report. Lesson here is a strong name or judge or noble background cannot replace obedience and faith. Caleb becomes one of the great heroes of faith in the Old Testament. His tribe, Judah, would later produce King David and Jesus Christ. And Caleb's name likely means wholehearted or faithful. And he truly lives up to it. True leadership is defined by faith, not fear. Caleb stands for courage, rooted in God's promise. The tribe of Issachar was known for understanding of the times. However, Igal, which means he redeems, does not stand out in faith. This reminds us that spiritual heritage does not guarantee spiritual courage, which teach it is not enough to know what God is doing. we must trust and act on his word. Oshea means salvation, and Moses later renames him Jehoshua, Joshua. The Lord is salvation. Joshua becomes Moses' successor and leads Israel into Canaan, where the tribe of Ephraim would later become one of the dominant tribes in northern Israel. Joshua represents faith, courage, and divine leadership. God raises faithful servants in times of unbelief. The tribe of Benjamin later produces King Saul and the Apostle Paul, Saul of Tarsus. Palti means deliverance or escape, and Raphu means healed. Yet this Palti participates in the negative report, showing that noble names cannot substitute for faith, as deliverance comes not by name or heritage, but by trusting God's power. Gadiel means God is my fortune, and Sodi means my confidant. Zebulun's tribe was later blessed for prosperity and trade, but like most spies, Gadiel failed in faith. This lesson teaches us that God may be our fortune in name, but unless we act in faith, we cannot enjoy his promises. Continuing on, Joseph's tribe is represented by Ephraim here, showing the prominence of Ephraim. This verse completes the list of the 12 spies. Dig in deeper. Oshea, later renamed Joshua, is from the tribe of Ephraim, one of Joseph's sons. Ephraim was a prominent tribe in Israel, often seen as a leader among the northern tribes, and this spy will later become very important. Joshua, who leads Israel into the promised land. The spy representing Benjamin, the smallest tribe but notable in Israel's history, which shows representation from every tribe, even the smaller ones, symbolizing unity and collective responsibility. Further, Zebulun was one of the 12 tribes and settled in a fertile, coastal area. Gadiel means God is my fortune, or God is my glory. The names often carry significant meanings related to faith, or God's character, setting a spiritual tone. Manasseh is Joseph's other son, and his tribe was divided into 2 tribes, east and west. Gadi means my fortune or troop, implying strength or blessing. This again shows comprehensive tribal representation. Of the tribe of Dan, Dan was one of the northern tribes, often associated with judgment and sometimes idolatry. Amiel means people of God or God's kinsman. The tribe of Dan's inclusion rounds out the leadership, despite later struggles of the tribe. Not to repeat myself, but again, as mentioned a time or two already, Moses renames Oshea as Joshua, meaning the Lord saves. This renaming indicates Joshua's role as God's chosen leader, and foreshadows his future leadership. As we have seen in previous chapters and books, main changes in the Bible often signal a divine calling, or new identity, like Abram to Abraham. Moses gives the spies their instructions, focusing on the southern route into Canaan. The mountainous terrain was significant because it was home to many fortified cities. This journey was strategic and challenging, meant to test Israel's readiness and faith. The spies were to assess the inhabitants, focusing on military strength and population. This was a practical reconnaissance mission to gather intelligence. While gathering facts is necessary, faith must guide how this information is interpreted. Further, they were to evaluate the quality of the land and the nature of the dwellings, for example, nomadic tents versus fortified cities. Strongholds indicate possible military resistance. Knowing the type of settlements would help Israel prepare for conquest. The spies were to judge the land's fertility, fat or lean, and resources like wood. Wood was essential for building fuel and weaponry. And this shows God's concern not only for military challenges, but also for the sustainability of the land Israel was to possess. Going forward, we see the spies set out to explore a wide range of the land, from the southern wilderness, Zin, to the northern border near Hamath. This shows the thoroughness of their mission. They did not just scout a small area, but surveyed much of Canaan. The spies are doing a comprehensive reconnaissance, showing Israel's thorough evaluation of God's promised land. Hebron is a key city in the southern highlands, historically significant. Abraham lived here. The Anakim were a race of giants known for their size and strength. Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai are named as Anak's descendants, highlighting the intimidating nature of the inhabitants. The spies recognize that formidable enemies dwell in the land, which heightens their anxiety. The spies gather physical evidence of the land's fertility: grapes, pomegranates, and figs. Carrying the large cluster of grapes on a staff shows the impressive size and abundance. Despite the fearsome inhabitants, the land itself is bountiful and rich. God's promise is evident. The name Eshcol means cluster. This naming commemorates the remarkable fruit cluster, and becomes a lasting symbol of the land's richness. The abundance of the land is so significant that it shapes the geography and memory of Israel. 40 days is a biblical number often associated with testing, trial, and preparation, e.g., Moses on Mount Sinai, Jesus in the wilderness. The length of the mission emphasizes the seriousness and difficulty of the task. The spies' journey was a period of testing Israel's readiness and faith. The spies report back to Moses. Aaron, and all Israel gathered at Kadesh, which shows the fruit symbolizes the reality of the land's fertility. Their report is not just verbal, but also visual evidence of God's promise. The spies affirm the land's richness, using the phrase floweth with milk and honey, a biblical expression for abundance. They acknowledge the land is as God promised, and this confirms the land's desirability and God's faithfulness. The nevertheless marks a shift to a negative emphasis. The inhabitants are described as strong, the cities fortified, and giants, Anakim seen. The spies focus on obstacles and dangers. This shows that fear begins to cloud the report, overshadowing faith in God's promise. The spies identify major enemy groups scattered across the land. This gives a picture of a well-occupied, militarily strong land. This illustrates that the spies see Israel's future conquest as a daunting military challenge. This is why Caleb, one of the spies, encourages immediate action. He expresses strong faith in God's power and Israel's ability to conquer. He calms the fearful people. Caleb's faith contrasts with the other spies' fear, demonstrating trust in God over circumstances. The other spies reject Caleb's faith-filled optimism. They focus on human limitations and fear. This sets up the conflict between faith and fear that will dominate Israel's response. The spies exaggerate the dangers, describing the land as consuming its inhabitants. The emphasis on giants heightens the terror. The report is evil or bad because it sows fear and doubt. The negative report undermines faith and leads to rebellion. The spies compare themselves to grasshoppers beside the giants, and this shows their defeatist attitude and lack of trust in God. Their self-perception and view of the enemy are distorted by fear. We see time and time again that fear shrinks faith. Their report discourages the people and causes Israel to doubt God's promise. An overview of the chapter. The Israelites are camped in the wilderness of Paran, near the Promised Land. God commands Moses to send 12 spies, leaders from each tribe, to explore Canaan. And after 40 days, the spies return. 2 full of faith, Joshua and Caleb, and 10 full of fear. Their report changes the course of Israel's journey for the next 40 years. Let us end our program here today for Numbers. Chapter 13, here on Diggin' Deeper. On these programs, we simply go digging deeper into the Word of God. It is not enough to simply read the Bible, but we must go digging deeper into the Word of God to understand the Word of God. If you enjoyed this program, we ask that you like and share our content with others to help us spread the gospel as far as it will go. And if you got anything from this program, we ask that you subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our content. Until next time, I am your host, Billy Ray Parrish, thanking you for tuning in with me today. Stay safe and God bless.